everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to go over 6 books and let you know if they are worth the hype or if they're not so worth the hype. So if you like this video, make sure that you like it, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any content coming up. We will be going to North Carolina at the beginning of April, so I am pre-filming all of these videos so that way whenever I am gone they can upload. But make sure that you head on over to my Instagram. Definitely talk books with me over there. Let's buddy read some if you want to. But without further ado, let's get into these 6 books and let's figure out if they are worth the hype or if you could stay away from them. So the first book is Twisted Love by Anna Huang. Now, I'm not going to go into very many details because this will be on my March wrap-up video, so make sure that you stick around and watch that as well. But this book is following Alex and Ava, I believe is her name, and it is a brother's best friend romance, and it was okay. As you're following the book, it definitely is a contemporary romance. It definitely is a little bit dark in some parts. But as I was following Ava and Alex and throughout their, story, I just didn't feel a connect with them. I didn't feel like that the romance was truly there. I don't know if it was the way the characters were written or the way that the world was built around them, but there was something about the way that they interacted with each other and the way that their romance was progressing that didn't really connect with me as a reader. Now, I will say I do understand why people are so hyped about this book, or at least this series in general. It definitely can grab you and make you want to keep reading. It is quite a fast read, so I did enjoy that. But as far as the romance and the way that the characters connected and kind of their story as it's being told just didn't make sense to me. I didn't feel like Alex was this, dominating man. I didn't feel like he was intimidating or at least scary enough the way that the author was trying to write him. And Ava seemed way too pure, way too innocent. So I feel like there was too much of a contrast between the characters for them to be connected the way that they are. But like I said, I can see why people loved this book because it was engrossing. I did find myself wanting to keep reading. I couldn't quite pinpoint what the reason was. But I feel like out of a rank of 1 to 5 stars, 5 being like definitely worth the hype and 1 being not so worth the hype, I would give this a 3, only because the pacing was good. The, story definitely kept you in the story and you wanted to keep reading, but the romance myself, it wasn't there. I feel like the characters were too far apart in their personalities to actually connect with each other. So I definitely give this a 3, kind of right in the middle. Pick it up if you do like contemporary romances. You might end up liking this more than I did, but I give it a 3. I don't think it was truly worth the hype, but I don't think that it was the worst at all. The next book is another one that you will want to stick around for my March wrap-up if you want to know more details, maybe a little spoilery review on them. But this is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This book has been talked about a lot lately, all over BookTube, all over Book Talk. It just kind of came out of nowhere and was taking everyone by storm. So this has been correlated towards kind of like an ACOTAR, From Blood and Ash type of vibe. So if you like those books, you may end up liking this one. This book follows Aurea and Rain. And Aurea is a human who was saved in her town by the night-born king, which was Vincent, and I think she was 8 years old whenever she was saved. And she's taken back to be raised as his daughter. She's taught how to fight, how to kill vampires. This is a vampire world. And every 100 years, there is what's called, oh goodness, I can't even remember what the Hijaji, something like that. It's a tournament where every like certain moon cycle, I think it's like every 3 to 5 weeks, they have to compete in these tests, and whoever, comes out the winner from not being killed ends up being the winner for the next 100 years. Now, I really enjoyed this book. I couldn't put it down. I think I finished it in like 2 days, to be honest. It's a pretty thick book, and the writing on here is pretty small. So it was a very, very fast-paced read. The world was built up so beautifully. I definitely loved Aurea's character because she was fierce, she was stubborn, she was there to win, and I really liked Rain's character as well. I loved the way that the romance was in this book. I feel like the characters were very well suited for each other, and I feel like the politics around the whole vampire courts, there's 3 different ones, and I feel like that was very fleshed out as well. This book was amazing. I loved every aspect of it. I don't really feel like there was anything that needed to be changed in it to make it better. So I definitely give this 5. This is definitely worth the hype. If you like fantasy romance, if you like vampires, like not the sparkly vampires, but the ones that are cruel and ruthless and unforgiving, this book will definitely be for you. Just make sure that you check trigger warnings because there is a lot of blood and gore in here. There are some other things that do happen in here that, may trigger you. So just make sure that you check that out. But I definitely give this a 5 on the hype scale. Definitely worth it. Pick it up. It's wonderful and amazing. The next book is a contemporary romance again, and it is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This book is about, oh goodness, I can't even remember their names. I'm so bad with names. It's about Olive and Adam. And this is a STEM romance where they are in the scientific field. It is a male-dominated world, and so women have to prove themselves, and they're always like kind of put in the back. They don't make near as much money. They're not looked upon as somebody, as a colleague by other men. And I really loved the romance between the 2 main characters. I really liked the world that Ali Hazelwood had built, and I especially like that even though this is in a series, it can be read as a standalone. You don't have to read the books in order. You can pick and choose which ones you want to read at any point. So that is definitely another thing that is amazing. The only downfall to this book and the other book in the series, which is Love on the Brain, is the romance. It takes a while to build up to it, but I feel like once the romance happens, it's so instant. It's almost as if, like one day they're just like, oh, we love each other. And it's so quick and so like out of nowhere that it kind of brings you out of the story a little bit. But for the most part, if you can look past that, this book is worth the hype. I would probably give it a 4 on the hype scale, only because, like I said, there are some moments in the books that kind of bring you out of the story and takes you a moment to get back into it. But the world building's good. The pacing is great. It is a fast read. I would definitely say Ali Hazelwood is definitely worth all of the hype, not just with The Love Hypothesis, but with Love on the Brain, and then her 3-novella omnibus, which is called Loath to Love You. So I can't wait until her new book comes out called Love Theoretically, and I think that comes out in June. So I'm really excited for that one. The next book is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. This book is definitely compared to ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas. Again, it is a fantasy romance. It has fae in it. It is very good. It's a duet. The second book is called These Twisted Bonds. I have read both of them. These books are really good. This book is about Abriella and Sebastian, who is her friend, and also Finn, who is another guy in the story. And it's kind of like a love triangle a little bit, but her and her sister are kind of living with their aunt, and they're in debt with her. So it's kind of like a Cinderella-esque starting where, they have to go and steal and they have to like repay all this debt. And it's kind of like they have evil stepsisters and type of thing. Well, her sister ends up getting sold to the Unseelie King. So Abriella ends up going to the Unseelie court trying to get her sister back, makes a bargain with the Unseelie King, and then she is on this quest to try to get her back and get all of these things done that the Unseelie King has asked, and she meets Finn along the way and a whole cast of characters, and of course Sebastian, her best friend, is there as well. And you know what? I really loved the take on this. I loved Abriella as a character, and I loved the other two male love interests as well. And I loved how this book left on a cliffhanger that I did not see coming. So if you do like ACOTAR, if you like fantasy romance, if you like a world that's built up very well and a cast of characters that you grow to love along the way, definitely pick up These Hollow Vows. I give this a 4 as well on the hype scale. Only because I truly love ACOTAR so much. But if you are not a huge ACOTAR fan, you may end up not liking this book because there is nothing original in this book that is done. If you have read any fae fantasy romances, even multiple of them, you're going to see a lot of things just rewritten, redone in a different way by Lexi Ryan. So definitely go in knowing that there isn't really anything truly original in here, but it was a fast-paced read. I really loved it. The story was gripping. I loved the characters, and I loved the found family aspect. So I give it a 4. You may end up loving it as well. The next book on the thing is Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue. Now, this book is very dark, so make sure that you check trigger warnings as well before you go into this book. But this follows Ray and Leon. Ray is a person who has a YouTube channel. She does a lot of ghost hunting and paranormal things, and she moves back to the town that she was born in to finish her college. And come to find out, there's these string of murders that have been happening that are unsolved. They say that there is a demon at the bottom of this, mine, and, all of these spooky aspects of this. Now enter Leon, who is a mysterious guy that she meets, kind of intimidating, kind of scary, but she's not scared of him. And weird things seem to happen with Leon around. And as you go through this, the world is built up very well. The characters are fleshed out as well. So if you like those aspects of those books, then you would definitely probably like this. It's very dark and it's kind of horror-esque as well. So if you're not a big fan of horror, you may not like this book. Even though it's not truly scary, it has those elements around it. But I definitely liked it. I would probably give this a 3 on the hype scale, only because it was my personal opinion that I didn't feel like this book was as great as some of the other ones on this list. I definitely feel like, you have to have kind of a niche liking for these type of books. It is very smutty. It is, very gruesome and gory. So definitely pick this book up if that is something that you would like. I enjoyed myself. I don't think that I would continue this series though, so I would give it a 3 on the hype scale from my opinion. And then the last book actually was a shocker for me. I couldn't believe that I loved it as much as I did. but it is The Words by A. Jade. Now, this is a contemporary romance, new adult, and it follows Phoenix and Lennon. And Lennon is the smart girl. She is plus size, so I did like that representation in this book. Phoenix is kind of like the bad boy on the wrong side of the tracks type of thing. And we start out with them in high school. And so it's their senior year. Phoenix isn't probably going to graduate unless he actually passes his finals and such. So a teacher approaches Lennon and says, can you tutor this person? Blah, blah, blah. And of course, Lennon has a crush on Phoenix, but they come from two drastic different worlds. She is plus size, so you get her inner monologue about how people have bullied her and treated her in high school. But Phoenix is in a band, a local band with his friends, has a great voice, all of these things. And as their characters connect their senior year, they grow closer. It's kind of like a friends to lovers type of situation. And then out of nowhere, Phoenix betrays Lennon in a really bad way. And so they go their separate ways. Lennon hates Phoenix. Phoenix regrets what he did. And then fast forward, I think 5 years. Phoenix is this big mega rock star that everybody loves and adores. He's making millions. He's out on tour. And one night, as he is getting drunk and on drugs, they end up going in a car ride with the bandmates, and one of the bandmates dies. And Phoenix has that regret and that remorse. And so he just keeps sinking deeper and deeper into drugs and alcohol. And the label has hired other people to keep an eye on Phoenix and keep him out of trouble, and everybody is not successful. So in enters Lennon, where one of the bandmates said, you should bring Lennon in, she will keep Phoenix in line. And so now they're forced to be together again. And, you just go through the tour and her struggling to do this and them coming to terms with what happened in the past. And it was such an amazing story. The pacing is amazing. The characters are very well fleshed out. The world around them is amazing as well. I definitely give this a 5 on the hype scale. It is worth the read. Pick it up if you haven't. It is kind of a thick book. And the writing is pretty small. So just knowing going in that it is kind of a chunker, but it didn't feel that way as I was reading it. I was flying through the pages. I didn't want to put it down. I absolutely loved Lennon and Phoenix as characters. I also loved all the side characters that you meet as well. So I definitely give this a 5 on the hype scale. So those are the 6 books that I wanted to let you know if they are worth the hype or if they are not worth the hype. But these are the books, and definitely let me know in the comments below if you agree with my rating on the hype scale. If you don't agree, let me know your thoughts on that. I love to talk books. I love to talk anything. So I look forward to seeing your comments. But until next time, everyone, I hope you have a great day. Bye.